In a bid to boost vaccinations and curb the surging Delta variant, US President Joe Biden on Thursday announced sweeping new federal vaccine requirements that would affect a total of 100 million Americans. In his most forceful actions and words, President Biden sharply criticized the roughly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated, despite months of availability and incentives.
My message to unvaccinated Americans is this: what more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient. The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us.
Meanwhile, Biden's new rules mandate that all employers with more than 100 workers require them to be vaccinated or test for the virus weekly.
I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week.
Apart from this, Biden also signed an executive order requiring all government employees to be vaccinated against COVID-19, with no option of being regularly tested to opt out.
I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. And I've signed another executive order that will require federal contractors to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government and do business with us, get vaccinated. If you want to do business with the federal government, vaccinate your workforce.
President Biden also announced that all workers at medical facilities participating in federally subsidized healthcare programs would be required to get inoculated. Despite the government's warnings about the risk to unvaccinated people, the US jab rate is lower than in many European countries. And condemning pandemic politics, President Biden emphasized on reducing the number of unvaccinated people in the United States.
If we raise our vaccination rate, protect ourselves and others with masking, expanded testing, and identify people who are infected, we can and we will turn the tide on COVID-19. It'll take a lot of hard work, and it's going to take some time. Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated, even though the vaccine is safe, effective, and free.
Meanwhile, the US has become the first country in the world to surpass the grim milestone of more than 40 million COVID cases that are largely driven by the more contagious Delta variant. Now, according to reports, the country has been recording an average of 1,000 cases on a daily basis with a high fatality rate. And the announcement of the expansive rules comes as part of a new action plan that aims to address the latest rise in coronavirus cases and the stagnating pace of COVID-19 shots in the country. Our correspondent Susan Teherani has sent us more details in this next report from New York. Take a look.
In his speech on Thursday, U.S. President Joe Biden imposed new vaccination mandates as part of a broad plan to put pressure on private companies, government agencies, and schools to enact stricter vaccination and testing policies as the Delta variant continues its spread across the United States. The president's speech comes at a critical time. The country's daily average is over 150,000 for the first time since late January, overwhelming hospitals in hard-hit areas and killing over 1,000 people a day. The president hopes that his speech, his 6-point plan, and these mandates will demonstrate that he has a handle on the situation. However, experts believe that ultimately the federal government can only do so much, and there will always be a segment of the American population that will simply refuse to get the vaccine. Susan Teherani from New York for WION World is One.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.